tell us a little bit about like what is Dioxycle and what problem are you solving?
We are developing breakthrough carbon utilization technologies. Most of the chemicals are made from fossil, and just the fact of making them emits a lot of process emissions. And so instead, what we are doing is that we are taking carbon emissions and using electricity, renewable electricity and water, turning that back into sustainable chemicals. And so the first product we are targeting is ethylene. It's the world's most used organic chemical. By displacing fossil fuel to make this product, we can actually displace over 1% of the world's emissions. So it's a gigantic opportunity in terms of like carbon footprint, but it's also like a big economic opportunity as well.
Just so people understand, ethylene, can you just give us a sense of, what this chemical is and what it's used for?
It's like a precursor for like all the plastics. When you think about plastic, you think about packaging. Also be thinking about, car interiors, PVC piping or PE piping, building material.
In this building.
Exactly, and even like windows frames and also textile fibers. So it's really in every carbon-based supply chain.
In traditional process, we're basically creating pollutants. We're creating CO₂ and other pollutants as we sort of burn these fossil fuels or break them down. And you're kind of undoing that and doing it backwards and taking those pollutants as an input and then adding energy into it, renewable energy, so electricity, which can be made easily renewable, and using that to build these molecules back up into useful chemicals. Is that one way of describing it?
So it's really the process of taking out this oxygen from your CO₂ molecule and actually recreating carbon-carbon bond. Electrochemistry is very powerful and elegant because it's laser focused. So it has this capacity of really targeting one specific reaction and creating the environment, the chemical environment, to actually stop at this CC bond and stay there.
There's this theme or this concept of precision medicine. How do you target the actual problem specifically rather than using broad spectrum, drugs or antibiotics or other things? This almost feels like precision chemistry. It's like rather than doing these big, dirty, gross bulk processes, it's like, hey, I need to make this chemical using these inputs. I'm going to do exactly that. And that's what you're doing in some way. Why can we do it now, versus 10 years from now or 10 years ago? What is the sort of chain of events that got us to making this possible?
You really need to, to reach the energy efficiency we need to reach to make this economically viable. For the last 3 years, because we started 3 years ago, we've really focused on developing a novel technology that actually has the intrinsic potential of making this conversion possible and economically viable.
But the goal at the end of this is that, at some reasonable scale, which isn't, massive scale, that you will be able to deliver this chemical at a cheaper cost than traditional techniques.
Exactly. We have been focusing on developing that technology that can reach cost competitive or actually lower cost.
Green discount.
So I think, that was a good phrase to put it.
It's our favorite word.